Hello guys, welcome back to another one of my videos. My name is Rina. If you're new, welcome. All my returning subscribers, I appreciate all of you guys. In today's video, we will be reacting to, let me read, what is it? The mom who went on Facebook Live after killing her daughter. Now, I think a month or a few months back, I did a video where a mother killed her daughter and she continued with life on TikTok like nothing. But this one is on Facebook. Like, what is happening? What is happening? Let us get into this video right now. If I do so, make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Will be greatly appreciated by moi.
The search continues for 16-year-old.
I'm just worried. I'm just calling.
LaTanya is still missing.
She's a liar.
We were extremely shocked.
So this is documented by Anna Undercovered. Sweet 16 murder.
We are all born into this world assuming that our parents will keep us safe, love us, and hope we have bright futures. Unfortunately for LaTanya Janelle Carwell, her parents had other plans. Take a tragic ride with us as we venture down a path of parental neglect and a murder so evil, an entire community went into shock when the truth was finally revealed.
Well, I've gone to
LaTanya Janelle Carwell, known to her friends, family, and community as Janelle, was born on April 17, 2001, in Palestine, Texas, and grew up in the town of Augusta, Georgia. Janelle was an incredibly intelligent young girl with plans to attend college for a law degree or medicine, as one of her pastors described her.
Janelle was loving, very intelligent, smart young woman who wanted to be a doctor, who was an honor student.
Her uncle also described her as saying,
she knows how to cook, clean, very well groomed, very well spoken.
She was a sophomore at T.W. Josie High School in Augusta, Georgia, when she disappeared the day before her 16th birthday. On Thursday, April 13th, 2017, Janelle was attending her last day of school before Easter weekend.
Can you believe that tomorrow is Easter? Well, maybe when I post that video, it's going to be after Easter. But wow, what a coincidence.
She was excited for her birthday the upcoming Monday and preparing to celebrate with her family at a large cookout. She mentioned to her language arts teacher, Lori Miles, and her peers that her family had plans to move out of Augusta soon.
Not only should we say the student's best friend, she's a teacher's best friend. That's when she told us that not only was her birthday coming, ready to celebrate, but there were some other things that were happening.
Her teacher, Lori Miles, also mentioned that Janelle's demeanor changed before her disappearance. She moved from the front to the back, and I mean completely to the back, to the point where a few days earlier, I actually brought her up to the front and said, "That's not you." It's known that when kids are having a difficult time at home, they often act out at school.
That's true.
Rudolph Dreikers, a psychiatrist and educator, has identified the 4 goals of misbehavior as to gain attention. If a child is not getting positive attention from their parents, they will accept negative attention. If they receive attention when they are in trouble, they will attribute it to being noticed and wanting more of it. Maybe Janelle felt neglected by her parents. 2, to have power. When children have little control over a toxic environment at home, they will lash out at school to get attention. When Janelle began acting out in class, this may have been a sign of her taking power back that she wasn't achieving at home. 3, to get revenge. Children who are punished unfairly at home will seek to inflict revenge on others to make themselves feel better. Is it possible that Janelle was taking out the pain that she endured at home on her education? 4, to display inadequacy. If children don't feel appreciated at home or loved, they will end up feeling never good enough and often withdraw from situations. Janelle completely removed herself from her classes, and it was apparent something was severely affecting her. Could any of these scenarios relate to Janelle's sudden disinterest in learning? Her home life was clearly the answer. A few years before Janelle went missing, her mother.
But when children react that way, aren't schools allowed to do like a background checkup, like speak to the child? Why are you doing this? Is everything okay at home? If they're not speaking, you can tell on the behavior of a child when something's not right. So if she went completely to the back, you speak to her, you know her as a student because she's like a teacher's best friend. Her answer, her body language should give you a sign that, hey, something's not right. But
Tanya,
I don't know if they
met
did a
Leon
background
Trent,
check, but it
a
didn't sound like
convict
that.
in jail, serving time for cruelty to children, aggravated assault, and other various crimes. The pair wrote letters back and forth and eventually got married while Leon was still in jail. When he was released in 2015, he was paroled to Tanya's home in Augusta, Georgia. Makita K., Leon's ex-wife, released this statement to concerned citizens about her experience with Leon and how she warned Tanya of his behavior. "We was married from 2003 to 2009. I met him in 2000. We have 2 girls together. Those are the only children he has. Tanya met him in prison and she was fully warned. I was cyber-stalked while he was in jail until 2013. Leon had many charges from our incidents. All the cases you see online are from our marriage. I mailed letters to parole to prevent his release but was ignored. I have helped Lee as much as I can. I am only concerned about finding LaTanya. I lived with this man for 10 years. I am only making this one statement. I'm not on Facebook because of many reasons, and I'm trying to keep my children privacy and peace. They have been through enough already." She mentioned that he was a good man, but became angry when he was drunk. He broke into a room their children were sleeping in when she ended their relationship, which was where the cruelty to children charge came from. Can you believe a mother would bring a convicted criminal into her home with her 2 young daughters? Red flags were coming from this family since the beginning. On the afternoon of Janelle's 16th birthday, her mother called 911 to report that her husband and daughter had not arrived home after they left the house at 1 a.m. the previous night. On the 911 phone,
1 a.m. Your husband, who's an ex-convict, left with your daughter, and you're calling the following day?
call Tanya made, she said,
I've been calling and texting and leaving messages and nothing.
Tanya claims to the dispatcher.
They're not answering.
The dispatcher says, with Tanya responding with, "At all. Neither one." It seemed as though her mother was upset about the unknown whereabouts of her daughter. She mentioned to the police that her husband received a call from a friend that their car had broken down in Clarks Hill, South Carolina, about 30 minutes northwest of Augusta.
And he said, "I didn't want to bother you," so I asked our daughter, would she go help me find Maurice. He said he had a call from a friend that was stuck on side the road in Clarks Hill.
She claimed he apparently took her phone since he did not have GPS on it, but needed Janelle to go with him since he did not understand how to use the GPS app. Janelle's uncle.
Wow, and she just let her daughter go like that at 1 a.m. in the morning because her friend vehicle broke down and needed a GPS on phone. Hey, there's YouTube. Like, how could you oh my goodness.
Charles Carwell believed there had to be a premeditated situation that night, stating,
It was premeditated because I mean, this girl goes missing on her 16th birthday, and how, you know, she was brought out the house, it just doesn't sit well with me.
But he still held out hope, stating, "I just believe she's in a situation where she can't get on the phone and call uncle, mom, or some kind of relative. You know, because by now, she would have reached out." 2 weeks later, after Janelle disappeared, her mother, Tanya, and pastor Angela C. Hardin took to Facebook Live to generate reward money for anyone who knew anything about her whereabouts. Tanya claimed her sickness was the reason she did not go along with Leon that night Janelle went missing.
I do have cancer. I have brain cancer and I have lung cancer. I was inhaling too much of the smoke, so my husband told me to go in the house and lay down. So I did, because I couldn't breathe. And 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, I'm calling, texting, nothing.
Now, this is where the mother's story gets suspicious. First off, why are you allowing your daughter to go out in the middle of the night to find your husband's friend? In the Facebook Live video,
that's what
she
I'm trying
mentions
to.
that her husband told her to go inside to lay down, which means she must have been talking about Sunday the 16th. But then she goes on to say she was texting them between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. with no answer, even though she told the police they left after midnight. And she told reporters many times that she had spoken with the two when they were planning to return home. If your daughter went out late with your husband and neither of them was home the next morning, wouldn't you have called the police earlier?
Why?
On April 26, 2017, Leon's white GMC Sierra pickup truck was found abandoned along a road less than a mile away from their home on Old McDuffie Road.
We processed the truck to make sure if there was any trace evidence, any physical evidence, DNA or anything of that nature, to show signs of a struggle or something had happened, and we found none.
Claimed Officer Richard Roundtree, the Richmond County Sheriff. Police continued searching for clues and looked into where their cell phones pinged that night. Sheriff Roundtree said, based on those tower readings, none of it suggested that they were in the Clarks Hill area, as Leon originally had stated. Reporter Renata DeBose also claimed that she spoke to investigators, and they told her that there was no call made that night from the apparent friend, Maurice.
I spoke with the investigator, and he says there was no call requesting Tripp help a friend with a car on the side of the road in Clarks Hill.
So she just let her daughter go? Like, she just gave away her daughter. Just gave away. Like, you didn't even confirm to see if that friend actually called. At 1 a.m., you just give away your daughter to your husband because you trust your husband, who's an ex-convict, so much that you let your daughter go with him at 1 a.m. You say that you couldn't go? What kind of mother? Like, you know.
Janelle was known to be extremely engaging on social media. Before the weekend of her disappearance, she was posting online constantly. But after the night of the 16th, all communication paused. Several weeks after the truck was found, citizens in Atlanta, Georgia, began calling in sightings of Leon. He was seen at various grocery stores and even driving back and forth from Augusta to Atlanta more than once.
Wow.
Stepfather was spotted in a location without the presence of the daughter. He had a relationship with individuals in Atlanta. He had friends. He actually made 2 or 3 trips back and forth while we were actively looking for him and the daughter.
Community outpour continued as they held vigils and created search parties to find the missing girl. Ray Montana, a community leader from CSRA Street Justice, a group of 200 to 300 volunteers helping remove crime and support at-risk individuals in Georgia, was on Facebook Live daily while looking for the teen. He organized several search parties and mentioned it was difficult for the volunteers in the 100-degree weather. Many people bailed out, ended up in the hospital, and one lady had to receive a spinal tap due to dehydration. Tanya continued to speak with the news, but constantly changed her story about exactly what happened the night her daughter disappeared. Many speculations were made regarding the whereabouts of the two, even the idea that Leon and Janelle were having an affair. When this topic was brought up to Janelle's mother, she had quite a defensive response.
Really? He married to all this prettiness and he gonna run away with our daughter? Come on now.
This is not a situation to laugh. This is not a situation where you should laugh. But what did she just say?
He married to all this prettiness and he gonna run away with our daughter? Come on now.
Mom. I don't mean to say that, but you have I'm not even going to say it. But mom, what did you just say? Why would he mess with her? Why would he mess with her daughter when he got all that prettiness? Which is oh my god. Okay, mom.
Stupid. The police released a warrant for Leon's arrest on kidnapping charges on May 1st, 2017. But Tanya continued to deny any possibilities that her husband had done something to her daughter.
The worst
TV
kind of
reporter Kelly
parents.
Wiley, who interviewed Tanya extensively, said,
She did show concern for her daughter. When I asked her, hey, investigators believe he's taken her, she was very defensive.
He even went on the media speaking out against the sheriff's office, saying that we were wrong and we were falsely accusing her.
This is the man they love. This man is not going to hurt them. 3 weeks after Leon was reportedly seen in Atlanta, police continued their search efforts and finally found him at a U-Haul storage rental facility in Atlanta, Georgia. But he was not alone. Police found him with his wife, Tanya. She claimed she was heading to Atlanta to look for Janelle and miraculously saw him on the side of the road, so she picked him up and gave him a ride. Leon then claimed that he had...
Huh? Mom. Your daughter has been missing. With this guy, you gave him a ride. No wonder she was defending him on the news.
Actually gone to Atlanta with Janelle that night instead of Clarks Hill and gave her money to take the bus back to Augusta and hadn't seen her since. Talk about complete nonsense. Both parents were put behind bars, and Tanya was charged with hindering the apprehension of a criminal. Shortly after Tanya was placed in jail, the police found out that not only was she still in contact with her husband, she had moved to Atlanta and had been squatting in an abandoned house with him, not far from the grocery store Leon was initially sighted. 8 weeks into the search for Janelle,
That's a
the
top
case
team.
officially became a homicide.
Attorney Natalie Payne told a judge in court that Leon Tripp admitted she's no longer alive.
However, her mother maintained her story. However, Sheriff Roundtree believed that Tanya knew they would never find Janelle where she said they should look for her. He also announced that Tanya was lying about her claims of battling cancer. He also said,
Told a very convincing story, and a lot of people went to her aid, but it's taken us that long just to peel back those layers and break down all those lies.
the community felt tricked, and Pastor Angela C. Harden was re-interviewed. She stated,
She's a liar.
Wow, imagine you sat there with a criminal. Because she is a criminal, even if she didn't do the killing herself. Maybe she did because she even moved to Atlanta. But you're hiding and you're supporting. And you're the mother. Is that even a child? Did she give birth to that child? Because there's no connection. You're not feeling any remorse, any pain, any heartache for your own child. Like,
In my opinion, she's told a whole lot of lies. Tell where this baby is. Why are you being quiet? You're not going anywhere. You locked up.
on March 23rd, 2018, police announced the end of a year-long search for Janelle Carwell as they received a phone call from a citizen that was surveying the background of a vacant residence in Augusta, Georgia, and discovered what they believed to be human remains. The homeowner found a bone sticking up from a shallow grave in the backyard of the residence. News reporters everywhere announced LaTanya Janelle Carwell's remains were discovered in a shallow grave on Golden Camp Road last week. Janelle had recently visited the dentist before her disappearance, so dental records provided a positive identification. The only information released from the indictment regarding her final hours of life were Janelle was by means and manner unknown to the grand jury, using Leon's hands and other objects unknown to the grand jury. Objects which, when used offensively, results in serious bodily injury. It was also noted that her limbs were bound. Both Tanya and Leon were charged with murder. When the coroner, Mark Bowen, was interviewed about the lack of information being provided to the public, he answered, "The information we have Some were
I wonder what she did so much today that they hated her, killed her. They hated her so much that they killed her. What could she have done so much to you? A parent, you're supposed to guide and protect her, and you're the one who took her life away?
were holding. The sheriff's department asked to the DA, "We have to do this because we don't want to mess up any justice that Janelle deserves." Neither party entered a plea, and prosecutors continued building their cases. The district attorney announced that she would go for the death penalty in Leon's case. She also announced that she believes Janelle's parents hired a hitman to kill their daughter. In court filings, the state intends to prove on 3 occasions Tanya and Leon sought out someone to kill Janelle, once in 2015 and 2 more times a year later in 2016. Leon's attorneys announced they would be challenging the death penalty and would be fighting to remove all media from the trial so that Leon receives a fair trial. Ray Montana said,
Perhaps they did solicit someone, but the fact still remains that everything's pointing at them. And I hope that they die by the hands of the state.
He also said when they were conducting searches near the property where Janelle's remains were found, a man came to the door with a and said,
"You're going to have to get off this property." I said, "Well, I know you're renting this property, but the owner of this property told me that I could search this property." He said, "No, you're going to have to leave today."
Ray then went to the Richmond County Sheriff's Department and told them about the man, the property, and his assumptions about Janelle being on that property somewhere. The defense continued to file dozens of motions, and the district attorney continued to argue against each one, ultimately delaying the trial. The defense also wanted GPS phone tracking and family interviews removed from evidence. The district attorney wanted to provide ways to honor Janelle and help families by providing a new cadaver dog to Richmond, Columbia, and Burke counties. A German Shepherd and Malinois mix will help missing people, both dead and alive. The dog's name is Dora, but they plan on incorporating Janelle's name into it as well. Many of the details of this case have remained private, and due to the virus, many court proceedings have been delayed. Unfortunately, Janelle's uncle, Charles Carwell, passed away before his sister was convicted, and his niece received justice. His obituary says he departed his life on August 17, 2019. It could be suggested that the turmoil his family was going through may have been a reason for his death, but nothing has been confirmed. In October of 2021,
he didn't get to see justice being served for his niece.
Leon's case was transferred to a new judge, Chief Judge Daniel J. Craig, who scheduled an entire day to hear dozens of pending motions in the case. However, his newly assigned attorneys, the 3rd set assigned to his case, were not ready. His lead attorney, Adam Levin, claimed he had just received the case file 2 days earlier, but promised that the delay was not a defense tactic. The following hearing date was set for December 14, 2021, where Judge Craig will set a trial date. Since this case is quite recent, we still have so many unanswered questions and thoughts about it. Many comments on online forums suggest the main reason for Janelle's death was probably her mother's envy and her stepfather's perverse mind. Some commenters have mentioned that the motive may be due to
I believe the envy part, because the part when she said that why would he go for her or the good looks, like why would a mother be saying that? That's not the words a mother should repeat. If someone said that her husband had an affair with her daughter or had eyes on her daughter, like she's underage. Why would you even go on her looks, compare her looks to yours as a mother? Like, really?
Pregnancy or sexual assault, but these ideas have yet to be proven. According to 2 commenters online, her community still regularly holds memorials for her, and her cousin claims their family is still reeling from the after effects of the young girl's death. Throughout this case, the community rallied around Janelle as she became their child. We must never forget the life that Janelle lived and remember young victims like herself. According to her obituary, Janelle has many family members who keep her memory alive, including her sister, Tanisha Carwell, and her extended family of grandfather, aunts, uncles, and cousins. This case seems extremely sad when there are still so many unanswered questions. What do you think the parents' motives truly were? And what's going to happen with the trials now that everything's been delayed so long?
I personally have no clue why the parents would murder their daughter. Like, why? Why? What did she do so much to trigger her death? What did she do so much that you needed to kill her? And you know which was worse, because it's the mother, because you actually gave birth to this child. You carried her for how many months? Went through all the stages of pregnancy. Did you ever create a bond with her? Maybe not. That's why it was so easy for you to just get rid of her. And then you bring in your partner from jail to help you with your dirty work. And like, he really wanted to, because if they said that he had an interest in the girl, then wow, he really wanted. And like, it's like he had no purpose to life. And this happened like in 2018, and we're in 2022. I know court cases take long, like years, but like, I mean, all the evidence are there. Why is it taking so long? Serve the justice which she deserves, because she deserves it. This is the end of this video. Make sure to drop a like on this video. Comment down below what your thoughts on this on this news was. Whatever you have to say, like, just leave it down below. Comment whatever words you have for these parents, leave it down below. This like just messed up my whole day. But I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye.